Bonjour tout le monde. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Learn French with Madame. Today, we are going to talk about months of the year, days of the week, and seasons. So, we're going to first start off with months of the year. So, we have Les mois de l'année. Les mois de l'année. This title up here, Les mois de l'année, means the months of the year. So, on the left hand side of my paper, I have all of my months written out in order from January through December. And then I have two other columns. One for anglais, we're going to write it in English. Then we have sound it out. So we're going to write out how these things sound in English so you can help, or how they sound in French, so that way it helps you pronounce them. So with that, let's go ahead and start. So first off, we have janvier. Janvier is January. So I'm going to write down in English, January, and now we're going to sound it out. So janvier is like Jean V A, janvier. So hopefully that helps you say it a little bit. Next, we have février, février, and février is February. February. And so that's kind of pronounced the same way. We have Fev, Février. All right, up next is Mars, Mars, and Mars is March. Mars. Like an S sounds. Mars. All right, up next is Avril. Avril is April. I always make a joke when I teach this month because of Avril Lavigne. Her name is Avril, but it's Avril in French. Little fun fact there for you if you didn't know. So Avril, like A, and then V, real. Avril. All right, up next is May. May, that one's super easy. May, pronounced the same way. Same way you would say it in English. All right. Next is Juin. Juin is June. Juin. And that one is pronounced like Jou. Let's see, Jou, and then N, Juin. All right, up next we have Juillet. This one is kind of hard, so I'm going to put a star by this one so that we remember we need to practice this one. So Juillet is July, and that one is kind of hard to say. It's not Juliet, but it's like Juillet. Juillet. And you say it pretty fast. Juillet. All right. Up next is August. So we have août. Août is August. Août. It's like saying août with a T at the end. Août. All right. Up next, our last couple months are pretty easy. We have Septembre, Octobre, Novembre, and Décembre. So all of those kind of sound like what they are in English. So we have September for Septembre. And so we'll write this one out. It's sept. And then ombre. Septembre. All right, up next is Octobre. Octobre. It's October. These ones should be, the last couple ones should be pretty easy to spell. You just flip that R and that E. So instead of being ER, it's RE. And they follow the same pattern. So Octobre. October. Next is Novembre. Novembre is November. And that's pronounced like no. Vom. Bruh. And last one is décembre. Décembre is December. Décembre. Décembre. So, a couple things that you might notice about all of these months. In English, I capitalized all of these months, but in French, the months are not capitalized. So, it seems a little odd because in English, we capitalize all of those months, but in French, the months are not capitalized. So, just a little heads up, don't capitalize those months. All right, let's talk about days of the week now. So we've got our days of the week. I'm going to move my paper up so you guys can see it. So days of the week, we're going to start with lundi. This should be a little bit familiar. So lundi we have is Monday. Lundi. So lundi is Monday. Lundi. Next is Mardi. Mardi is Tuesday. Mardi. Up next is Mercredi. Mercredi. Mercredi is Wednesday. And a little tip in English, if you have trouble spelling Wednesday in English, sound it out like Wednesday. Hopefully that helps a little bit. I know some people struggle with saying that in English. So we have Mercredi is Wednesday. So that's Mercredi. Mercredi. Next is jeudi. Jeudi is Thursday. Jeudi is Thursday. Jeudi. My favorite day of the week, vendredi. Vendredi is Friday. Vendredi. All right, same concept. We're going to say vendredi. Vendredi. All right, samedi. Samedi, Saturday. Samedi. Samedi. And last day of the week, dimanche. Dimanche is Sunday. Sunday, dimanche. Dimanche. All right, so real quick recap before we start talking about seasons. I want to talk about just the months and the days. So I'm going to go back through and say these one more time for the months of the year. And I'm going to pause a little bit after I say it so that you can go through and say it with me. And then we'll go on to the days of the week. Make sure you use this sounded out column if you need a little bit of help. All right. So our first one, we're going to start with janvier, février, mars, avril, mai, juin, juillet, août, septembre, octobre, novembre, décembre. All right, let's do days of the week. So I'm going to move my paper up. So days of the week, we have lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi, dimanche. So hopefully you kind of caught on to the pattern. Days of the week are the same in French as the months. So the days of the week aren't capitalized like they are in English. So you capitalize them in English, but you don't capitalize them in French, just like the months of the year. So hopefully that makes it a little bit easier to kind of catch on to that pattern. All right. So I'm going to take this paper away and I'm going to show you the seasons. And so we're going to talk about seasons. I'll put that underneath. So a couple things on here. We have en automne is our first one. So en automne or l'automne, we have fall. A lot of people like to say autumn, but we don't really talk like that in English, right? You don't walk around saying, oh, I love autumn, or it's autumn right now. You might say it's fall, but sometimes you don't walk around and saying autumn. So en autumn, fall, it might just be helpful to put two and two together to help you figure out that it is fall. So en autumn and l'automne for fall. And then to sound it out, we have en, like UN, en, and then o, tome, tome, en, and then automne. And then we just have that L apostrophe if you choose that one. All right, next is en hiver in winter. So winter. So en hiver, winter. Hiver. And we have au printemps. Au printemps. I'm going to put a star by this one. I'll tell you why in just a second. So we have au printemps is the spring. Like springtime. So printemps. Printemps. Last one is été. Été is summer. Été, summer. Été. All right, so I want to talk about this en and o. So I'm going to put a box around all of these so you guys can see. So we have en and o. En, I'm just going to write it over here. En means in, and o means in. Like in the fall, in the summer, in the winter, in the spring, etc., etc. The only difference is that printemps, springtime, is always going to use o. So that's why I put a star by it, because all the rest of them use o except for springtime. Springtime is a little weird and it uses o, A-U. All right. So now I have a couple boxes. And so we're just going to go through and draw our 4 seasons. We have dessiné. We're going to draw our 4 seasons or something that would remind us of our 4 seasons. So we have fall is automne, winter, hiver, printemps, spring, and then our last one, summer, été. All right, so let's just go through and kind of draw out a scene from all of these seasons. So we have fall. I'm going to draw some trees. Don't judge Madame's drawing with trees. And we're going to draw some leaves. And maybe we can draw like a big leaf pile down here. Like this is a bunch of leaves. This is why Madame doesn't teach art, but you get the idea. All right, next is l'hiver, winter. So I'm going to draw a Christmas tree. And maybe we can draw like some Christmas lights. Etc., etc. There's some snow. Pretend there's snow. The white is snow. Next is printemps. So I'm going to draw some flowers. These are tulips. All right. And our last one is été. Été. So I'm going to draw a nice big sun. We'll make our sun have a face. It's happy. And maybe we can draw like some waves and pretend that we're at the beach. All right, so real quick recap. We have en automne, which is fall. So I'm going to go through and say these. Hopefully you guys can use our little helpful sounded out column over here and you guys can say it with me. So we have en automne, en hiver, au printemps, and en été. And so les saisons are seasons. Les saisons are the seasons. Hopefully, days, months, and seasons aren't super hard for you. They shouldn't be too hard. It might just be a little tricky to remember them. But just a little heads up, make sure that you study these, you watch this over and over and over again if you need help pronouncing them, because you might have an oral quiz coming up on these. So not one that's on paper or online. You just have to say things out. So just a little heads up. Okay, si vous avez des questions, if you have questions, envoyez-moi un email et c'est tout et à plus.